And thank you, John Saunders, and welcome to ESPN's Tuesday Night Baseball. New York has taken a 1-0 lead on the California Angels here in the first inning on Bernie Williams' second home run of the year. There he is, number 51, the fine center fielder for the Yankees. He went deep on a 2-2 pitch from Chuck Finley and smashed it over the right center field wall. We have two unbeaten pitchers on tap tonight in Key against this man, Chuck Finley. Both have 2 wins, no losses. But Finley is down. His 4 games this year, a good earned run average, but look at the number of walks to innings pitched, 14 and now 15, as he has walked Don Mattingly with 1 out here in the first and faces Danny Tartabull and has him to count 1 and 2. So Mattingly at first base, 1 run already in. California trailing 1-0. Steve Physioc with Dave Campbell tonight from Anaheim Stadium, where the first place Angels in the American League West take on the New York Yankees. Tartabull smashed to center field, and Chad Curtis makes the catch, and 2 are out.
Finley's coming off an excellent outing, a shutout performance with 10 strikeouts against Cleveland last week, but he's been touched up a little bit here in the first inning.
Dave, let's check out the New York lineup. Bernie Williams, is he 1 for 1? He hit the home run. Owen, Mattingly, Tartabull, Stanley, Leyritz, Velarde, Gallego, and Kelly. And Chuck Finley will now face Mike Stanley, a fellow who has pounded Chuck Finley in his history. And Finley has had trouble locating all of his pitches to start this game. He is coming off a marvelous outing. You see Stanley's numbers on the year. He had a grand slam home run in his last game. New York's 10-9 win over Seattle on Sunday. Fastball is in there.
Stanley, part of that catching duo of the Yankees that hit 30 home runs last year. Matty Noakes had 22. Stanley chipped in with 8. So offense, no problem from the catching position. Stanley's the better defender.
And the pitch blocked nicely by John Orton. Orton catching Finley tonight. And he is outstanding defensively and really has been a surprise for Buck Rogers offensively, hitting .290.
Well, checking out Buck Rogers' defense tonight. Rene Gonzalez, G. Sarcina, Easley, and Snow, with Polonia, Curtis, Salmon, and Orton on the defensive side.
And here is the 2-1 pitch. Mattingly does not go, and it's slapped foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes for Mike Stanley. This is not a speed team. We will not see that many stolen base attempts by New York. They only have 3 stolen bases this year to California's 25. That's a nice look over at first base. J.T. Snow, who was supposed to be the heir to Don Mattingly at first base, but Mattingly's back got better, and J.T. Snow is trade bait to acquire the left-handed starting pitcher they wanted in Jim Abbott. Abbott will go tomorrow against Mark Langston. The 3-2, and it is hit on the ground. Rene Gonzalez. It's in the dirt, but scooped beautifully by J.T. Snow. They say he is the next Mattingly, and we've seen Gold Glove play by that rookie so far. It's 1-0 New York on Williams' home run. Lead on the California Angels here in the bottom of the first inning. Now let's check out the starting lineups that Buck Rogers will show tonight. He will lead things off with his fine left fielder, Luis Polonia. Batting second is center fielder Chad Curtis, hitting .351 in the 3 spot. Another rookie, it's Tim Salmon. He's in right field. Batting fourth, Gary Gaetti taking over for Chili Davis as the DH. And there's J.T. Snow. Rene Gonzalez will be in the 6th spot. Damian Easley at second base. Gary DiSarcina is the shortstop. And John Orton, that's 9th. He is the catcher.
10-year veteran Jimmy Key is making his 5th start of the year, has had outstanding numbers, and we mentioned earlier, going back to last year, 9-0 since September. In a manager and coaches poll, he was voted the #1 pitcher in the league with the best pickoff, #2 in control, and the 3rd best changeup. Looking at the defense, Mike Gallego fills in for Wade Boggs tonight. Spike Owens got a bit of a groin pull, and Pat Kelly's hamstrings bothering him, and 7-time Gold Glove winner Don Mattingly's at first. Randy Velarde played 6 positions last year. Bernie Williams in center, Danny Tartabull in right, and Mike Stanley catching.
And here he is, Luis Polonia. He's hitting .297. On-base percentage is not where he wants it. He said, I want to be up near 4, where my pal Ricky Henderson always is. And he tries to lay a bunt down and fouls it off. That's strike 1. Mike Gallego at third base tonight. Wade Boggs missed Sunday's game against Seattle. Gallego is back there at third.
Steve, we're not told about any physical problems Boggs has. Left-hander started on Sunday for Seattle, and left-hander tonight. Don't know if they're just giving Wade a couple of days off. He's hitting .303, so it certainly isn't in a slump.
Buck did not comment on it before the ball game, but he did have a closed-door meeting first with Pat Kelly, who is suffering problems behind his knee, and Wade Boggs did not get the start this evening. That meeting was followed by a meeting with Mike Gallego, and I'm not so sure, as you see the play by Don Mattingly to take care of Luis Polonia. Let's take a look at the first inning home run by Bernie Williams. It's a 2-2 pitch, and Finley got it way over the plate.
Just about the same exact spot where Torey Lovello hit Roger Clemens over that 386 mark in a big home run on Sunday night. Chad Curtis runs out of real estate.
Here's Chad Curtis. And there is Bernie Williams, his second home run. He leads the club in RBIs with 12. And that's surprising when it comes from your leadoff spot.
Yankees are used to getting some decent production out of center field.
A ground ball, second base. And Pat Kelly throws out Chad Curtis. The likes of Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio.
Not too bad. Bobby Mercer played out there, had some pretty good years.
And here's Tim Salmon. See his numbers, 4 home runs, and he hit the home run off Roger Clemens on the fastball that faded inside. And on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, Salmon won it 2-1 with that 7th inning long ball.
Last August, Jimmy Key was really in a bad rut. He found himself, and he has just pitched brilliant baseball since. As we said, good sinker, slurve, and a great changeup. Works quickly.
Key is the count, a ball and a strike. Dave, since September 2nd, 1992, in 13 games, he's been on a roll.
Really should be 10-0. He had that game against Kansas City back in New York when he left after 8 innings. He had allowed 3 hits and was ahead 4-0, and 4 batters later it was tied up. That was when the Yankee bullpen of Steve Howe and Steve Farr just let the game out of the bag.
Trying to get Salmon to chase that breaking ball in the outside corner. He does not, and the count goes 3 balls and 1 strike. You're right. Key last year to start the season was miserable. He went 6-13, and then he won 7 straight, and he's followed up with 2 consecutive wins here in 1993. And Salmon spanks one up the middle, but they haven't played perfectly as Kelly, right behind second base, throws out Tim. So Key gets the Angels 1-2-3. 1-0 New York. New York leads 1-0, and so much of the publicity has been stolen by J.T. Snow. But what about the other young guys like Salmon and Easley and Chad Curtis?
Well, J.T. Snow, you saw the play he made at the end of the first inning. He is going to be brilliant defensively, but let's please hold off on sending him to Cooperstown. I mean, the guy's only been in the big leagues for about 3 weeks, and you know, this is a guy who was traded for, Jim Abbott, and I think J.T. Snow is going to be a fine player. But as Buck Rogers so aptly put it, we had a guy here in 1966 by the name of Jackie Warner who had 7 home runs in the month of April and was back in the minors in May.
But you get the feeling from watching J.T. Snow that probably will not happen to him.
Well, again, he's brilliant defensively. He can earn his keep. You saw that play. That was not an easy play by a first baseman, and I think he's a terrific young man. He's great to talk to, and he's going to be a fine player. But again, come on, guys. 3 weeks in the big leagues. Let's not send him to the Hall of Fame yet.
Hey, let's check out scores from around rest of baseball. Oakland leading Boston 2-0. The A's finally have a lead. Detroit over Kansas City in the 7th, 3-0. And here's a base hit from Jim Leyritz as he drops one into left center field. Man, has he been on a hot streak. I asked him tonight if he was going to be in the lineup, and he kind of smiled, and I said, oh, when you're hitting 550, I guess you're going to be there.
Hey, the Yankees were really worried this year. They knew with guys like Paul O'Neill and Boggs and people like that they were going to pound on right-handed pitchers, but they were worried about their lineups against left-handers. Well, Leyritz has stepped up, Stanley stepped up, and this guy, Randy Velarde's hit 3 home runs. He's earned a platoon spot with Paul O'Neill in left field. They've done very well against left-handed pitching in the early going.
And now we go to the number 7 man in the Yankee lineup, Randy Velarde. He, too, has had an excellent beginning. 3 home runs. One of them won a game. New York out to a 10-8 start this year. California, of course, the surprise in all of the American League. A 12-4 beginning. First place in the American League West. And there are many who thought that record for Buck Rogers would be reversed.
Certainly has been a surprise in early going. They have played nothing but Eastern Division foes to this point, and they've played the majority of their games at home. They've only played 5 road games. They go out on the road after this 2-game series with the Yankees. Great pitching matchup here tomorrow night. Quick move by Finley, but Jim Abbott against Mark Langston. So a premier pitching matchup in both these games with Finley and Jimmy Key tonight, and a couple of more left-handers tomorrow.
Buck Showalter saying earlier today he thinks Finley has an average move to first base, but he's very good home and he's very deceptive, and that is why he's able to pick people off and confuse base runners.
Yeah, the other thing, most times when you see a guy 6'6", 6'7" like Chuck Finley, they have that slow move to home plate. Not Finley. He's very quick to the plate. He steps quickly. He's got a slide step, and even when he picks the foot up, he gets it down in a hurry and gives his catcher a chance.
Here's the 2-1, and it is fought off into right field. That's a base hit. Leyritz turns at second base. He will head to third and be there safely. Runners at the corners for New York with nobody out in the second.
Well, it was not a hit and run, but it sure looked like it as Velarde goes inside out and hits it past J.T. Snow, and the Yankees are in business in the early going. Again, they've hit well against lefties. And with that first baseman holding against the runner, that really creates a big hole on the right side, and Velarde finds it with a good shot past J.T. Snow. He also had a chance to see Salmon's arm. He just got the ball back into the infield, but he has a terrific throwing arm in right field.
2 on, no one out, and Mike Gallego the batter. He had a pair of hits in Sunday's victory over the Seattle Mariners.
One thing Finley's done in the early going is he's falling behind in the count. He's not getting his forkball over, so the Yankees are pounding on the heater. The fastball that Bernie Williams hit, all the other base hits have been off fastballs as well.
Velarde was moving back towards first base as the pitch came home.
Amazing thing is that Finley's not missing by much, and he's missing down, but for some reason the Yankees seem to be picking up the lack of rotation on the forkball, and they're laying off it. So Orton goes out and talks to Chuck Finley. I don't know if their advanced scout picked up something in his delivery or not, but they're not really offering at that split finger pitch with a forkball right now.
That was his trouble early last year. Very flat forkball. Certainly was not the case in his last win, a 2-hitter against Cleveland. There's a ground ball short. They go second, one on to first, and they get the double play, but New York scores their second run.
With a guy like Jimmy Key pitching, you're really reluctant to give up a run, but you've got to stem the tide of the big inning, and the Angels keep their infield at double play depth, and they turn the double play, but must concede the run here. DiSarcina gets it to Damian Easley. Not the smoothest pivot ever, but Damian's kind of learning a new position. He's a shortstop by trade who had to play third base last year and is now asked to step in at second.
So Leyritz has scored. New York takes a 2-0 lead on these California Angels.
You'd think both of these guys, Jimmy Key and Finley, would have those kind of numbers, but Jimmy Key's just the opposite. A sinker ball pitcher who threw very few double plays last year. Finley got a bunch of them. Charles Nagy of Cleveland threw 32 to lead.
And here's Pat Kelly. 2 outs, nobody on. And he hits it hard, but right at the shortstop, Gary DiSarcina, who takes it. Yankees come up with one more and now lead California 2-0 going to the bottom of the second. Welcome back to Tuesday Night Baseball. It's New York 2, California 0. Chuck Finley against Jimmy Key. Key will now face Gary Gaetti. Designated hitting for Chili Davis tonight. He's given the night off. And Gaetti pumps one to center field. Bernie Williams races back in, makes a nice catch. And coming to the plate, a Cole Player of the Week in the American League, shared the honor with Chris Bossi, who threw the no-hitter earlier this week. J.T. Snow, and he can play some defense as well.
Yeah, if it's a little throw just in front of the first baseman, almost every first baseman can catch this. But this was one that kicked out on the grass, and you saw the terrific hands that Snow had. There are very few first basemen that would make that play.
You see the numbers. A .789 slugging percentage, leads the American League. .386 batting average. Went 0 for 3 against Roger Clemens, and he got one tossed right at his head, almost as if to say, hey, rookie, settle down.
Yeah, I just love to watch him defensively. I mean, I'm sure I'll omit somebody, but guys like Wes Parker, Keith Hernandez, Mike Hegan used to play first base, terrific defensive player. Mark Grace of the current crop, very smooth. They just really glide at first base. Other guys get the job done. Don Mattingly, certainly 7 Gold Gloves. But J.T. Snow is going to be in that elite group defensively, and if he can hit like he has been, then he can go to the Hall of Fame.
There's last year's Gold Glove winner. The 2-1 from Key, and Snow pops it foul. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
There was a right-handed fielding first baseman by the name of Vic Power back in the 50s that really could do it defensively. But for some reason, guys that throw left-handed wear that glove in the right hand. They always look a little bit smoother around the back.
Will Clark.
Absolutely.
Fastball on the inside corner, and Snow takes strike 3. Let's go to Gary Miller.
Back in the studio, we'll keep you updated on all the other action. Let's start in the Astrodome, where Houston remains in a tie for first with the Giants, who won this afternoon. Ken Caminiti getting things started with a home run in the opening inning off the Cards' Rael Cormier. James also homered in the game. 9-2, Astros win it as we go back to Stephen Day.
Thank you, Gary. It's 2-0 here. New York with the lead on the California Angels. And California still looking for their first base runner.
I don't know if JT said anything, but Buck Rogers started screaming at home plate umpire Joe Brinkman, and Brinkman ripped the mask off right away. I tell you, that Angel dugout keeps it up. Somebody's going to be gone in a hurry. Buck is hot. Let's take a look at the pitch again. Remembering, of course, our center field camera is off center. Well, I'll tell you what. Too close to take.
But Key is really a master. He's fun to watch. He sets you up so well, and then he makes that 85-mile-an-hour fastball look so much better when he pops it inside. After seeing that 79, 78-mile-an-hour slider.
The only bad thing about Jimmy Key is he works so efficiently he doesn't give you any time to talk about him. I mean, he was a leading pitcher in baseball last year at retiring the first batter in the inning. Only 22% of runners got on base, and that was the best in baseball. And anybody that follows this game on a regular basis will tell you that if you can get the first hitter in the inning, your chances of success are improved mightily.
Ten years he is pitching the major leagues. Top left-handed pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, all-time winning southpaw. And that one catches the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And with the stretch run he made, and also the loss of David Cohn, I was surprised that Toronto did not make a bid to try and keep him.
He's got a tough agent. His wife, Cindy.
There you go.
The only player in baseball that I know of whose wife is their agent.
They went to Clemson University together. He was a swimming star. Swing and a miss, and Key with back-to-back strikeouts. He has seen 6. He has sent them all down. It's 2-0 New York. And how about those winning Tigers trying to make it 14-5 on the year and dominate the American League East? I said the Angels were the surprise of the West. Well, those Tigers are certainly the case of surprises in the East.
Hey, if you average 8.3 runs a game, you're going to win a few. I love the Tigers last year, though. When they scored 5 runs or less, they went 27-76.
Got to have the pitching.
Yeah, Sparky said today, he says, hey, if we can keep the ERA where it is right now, 3.99 starting the action, he says, we'll win. He's right. Keep the ERA that good, they will win.
Here in Anaheim, it is 2-0. New York has the lead, and Finley back on the mound to face Bernie Williams, who homered off of him his first time up. A solid shot on a 2-2 pitch to right center field. He has been strong in about all areas. Reggie Jackson was talking to Bernie Williams, among other Yankees, before the ball game, and he is one of the advisors to George Steinbrenner this year. And Finley throws ball 4 to Bernie Williams. So the leadoff man is on first base. Tomorrow night, more NHL hockey coming your way. Washington's Capitals go against the New York Islanders. That is Game 6. The Islanders lead the series 3 games to 2. Tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 on the West Coast. Here's Spike Owen.
See what the Yankees do here. They had the fewest sacrifice bunts of any team in baseball last year with 26. Clete Boyer is giving the sign. Spike Owen, though, may try to dump a bunt anyway. Yankees already have a 2-0 lead. But trimmed down Clete Boyer this year.
Williams does not go, and pitch misses, ball 1.
And once again, Finley not getting the fork ball over, and the Yankees not biting at it. I don't know what their thing is. They either have Finley read very well, or they're seeing the ball extremely well tonight, because a lot of times hitters go after that pitch, starts in the strike zone, and then dips out.
Williams at first base, excellent speed. He goes. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to second is in time.
Now, that's the first attempt that Bernie Williams has had all year, which is kind of surprising for a leadoff man. But Bernie executes properly. You can see him looking. Actually, what Bernie should have done is run with his head down. Then when he thought the ball was going to go past the hitter, look, he ran about the first 7 steps looking back to his left. What you have to do is run about halfway to second, judge when the ball is crossing the hitter, and then look back.
And Spike Owen sends one in the air, short left field, and Gary DeSarcina is there to make the catch. Let's check in with Gary Miller.
Steve, we got some hockey for you. The Kings and the Flames in the breakaway. Here comes Gretzky. He spots the backboard and feeds Robitaille perfectly. It's his first goal of the playoff. 4 minutes later, he added another. They're in command, 5-1 at the Saddle Dome in the second.
Thank you, Gary. Of course, we'll have the Islanders in Washington tomorrow on ESPN. That'll be Game 6 of that important series. Here in Anaheim, New York leading California as the Angels are on a 6-game win streak and want to keep it going. Don Mattingly takes strike 1 from Chuck Finley.
See the updated average, and that includes a current 0 for 21 that Mattingly's in. The worst slump of his career. It just ended.
Nice timing, Dave.
Don had an 0 for 19, but that was in 1985, the year he knocked in 185 runs, so maybe that's a good omen.
185?
1985. He had an 0 for 19. High breaking ball from Finley, who's still having trouble with the breaking pitch. Easley skies, but can't quite get it.
Mattingly at first base. 2 outs. And the pitch to Chartable. He went around. And it is strike 1 to Danny.
Darryl Cousins at first tonight. Rick Reed second. Tim McClellan at third. And as we told you earlier, Joe Brinkman calling the balls and strikes.
Ball to strike. Danny Chartable punishes left-handed pitchers. Chuck Finley has been almost as effective against right-handers as he does against left-handers. In fact, the last 2 years he has not had very much success against guys hitting from the other side. Chartable, one of the top sluggers.
See Chuck standing on the third base side of the mound. This inning lasts a little bit. We'll talk about it. Otherwise, we'll get it to you later on. Finley pitches from the same side of the mound to both hitters. Now, he thinks he gets good action on the ball away from the right-handed batters, but by standing on that side of the mound, he's not as intimidating to left-handed hitters because he's not coming from the side. They can see the ball better. But he thinks his mechanics are better staying in one spot.
And there's a swing and a miss by Tartable. He is effective against right-handers and strikes out Danny. It remains 2-0 New York. Steve Physioc, Dave Campbell at Anaheim Stadium. 2-0 New York has the lead on California. Bottom three, Jimmy Key faces Damian Easley, another Angel rookie. And the first offering is a breaking ball for strike one. Damian Easley came up as a third baseman, shortstop, moved to second base. First major league start at second base was this year as the man around the keystone for these Angels. And they just feel he is such a great athlete. You can put him anywhere out on the diamond and he will find success.
Damon says, I can't help it because I look 18. I'm really older than that.
Sends it right field way, but out of play, and it is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, very good story by Mark Wicker in the Orange County Press talking about Damon Easley and his days in New York, where he grew up wanting to be a Willie Randolph or a Don Mattingly, playing stickball in the streets.
Yeah, I wonder if he gets down to first base, if Mattingly will get all over him. I'm sure Don read that same article. Quit rubbing it in, kid.
And Don, he just turned 32, what, last week?
Yeah. Well, you figure 10 years ago, Mattingly's been in the big leagues. That would have meant Damian was about, what, 13 years old?
And he looked 7.
Certainly can have your heroes when you're 13.
Checks his swing, but it was in the zone, and Easley is gone. 3 straight strikeouts for Jimmy Key.
Jimmy Key is like a machine right now. He's in such a great groove. About the only thing the Angels are trying to figure out is a way to get a man on. Maybe he won't pitch quite so well out of the stretch, but he's keeping the ball at the knees, moving it in and out, changing speeds with a curve and occasional change. He has really been in a great groove ever since opening day.
There's a ground ball, second base, Pat Kelly, and he throws out these who are gone. And he is so difficult to set up as a hitter. You go, well, he threw me fastballs inside, but I got to look for that fastball. He changes speeds on everything. I mean, you're not going to see the same selection each at bat.
Yeah, he's already got J.T. Snow thinking about that inside fastball now, and that's just going to set up the changeup that tails away. So he's got J.T. right where he wants him in the early part of this game. Threw a couple of fastballs in. Snow thought they were inside, but that'll lead to other at-bats. There's another guy that's been a surprise in the early going, John Orton.
290 average is what surprises everybody offensively. And he swings at that breaking ball in the outside corner. A little change on speeds on it, and it is 1 ball, 1 strike. They've always thought Orton was there defensively, but the 290 average is much greater than they expected. There's a fastball up high. California does have a fine catcher in AAA by the name of Chris Turner, another second-round draft choice, I think, a couple of years back from Miami, Fabregas. And they really don't go with a platoon situation anymore, Dave. They have Orton in there against Langston and Sanderson, and also against left-handers. And Rod Carew wants Myers in there against a right-hander and the 5th starter. Orton fouls it off, stays alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Angels historically have not been good at producing their own players. A guy like Wally Joyner, maybe. Chuck Finley came out of the system, Jim Abbott. But this group has really done a terrific job. And the Angels, after having a very mediocre 1991 season with one of the oldest teams in the league, have decided to go with you.
Well, Key is working quickly. He has seen 9. He has set them all down in order. It is 2-0 New York here in Anaheim. ESPN's presentation of Major League Baseball is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible 4-wheel drives. Beautiful Anaheim Stadium in Southern California. The Los Angeles Rams play football here, but this place was built for baseball. And there's the new bullpen that the California Angels have a chance to sit by, and they're talking about growing some plants out there.
Yeah, they're trying to come up with a name for it, too. I did have a thought today. How about the Purgatory Pavilion? I mean, it's the Angels, right? And those guys coming out of there don't know whether it's going to be good for them or bad for them.
Very good. I like that. I think they should call it My Sweet Heaven. You got to be an optimist about this.
I see.
Can't always be hanging in limbo.
Yeah, you're the one that had the twin brother, and you got the pony. I know that story.
And you got the duck. That duck barked, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's Mike Stanley, the catcher for New York. His first time up, grounded out to the third baseman. Look what he has done on the road, 8 for 15.
Amazing what that meal money can do, huh?
Stanley with a swing and a miss against Chuck Finley. The count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, Finley has not had very good success with Mike Stanley in his past, and Stanley coming off a hot game, went 3 for 4 at a grand slam off Dwayne Henry and the Seattle Mariners. And they needed that grand slam because New York only won by 1, 10-9. Hits it hard, but right at the third baseman, Rene Gonzalez.
Sometimes it's hard to figure why one particular hitter, maybe a guy that hasn't had a great reputation, just seems to own a particular pitcher. But coming into that at bat, Stanley 15 for 33 lifetime against Finley. And I mean, he scalded that ball. Gonzalez going up to make the play. But Mike Stanley, whatever Chuck Finley throws up there, Stanley seems to hit a rocket. And Stanley's a guy that hit 249 the last 3 years in a row. So we're not talking about a 300 hitter.
And here's slugging Jimmy Leyritz. His average up to 571. 12 for 21. 3 home runs. Takes a fastball low. Jimmy Leyritz from the Cincinnati area. Finley gave him something to hit, but it's popped in the air. J.T. Snow in foul territory makes the catch, and 2 are out. Randy Velarde, the batter. He got a base in his last time up, and that single to right field enabled Jim Leyritz to get to third base. Double play later, and they scored a run, and New York has themselves a 2-0 lead. They took a 1-0 advantage on Bernie Williams' second home run of the year. That was to start the ball game, leading it off against Chuck Finley. Chuck is down 2-0, and Jimmy Key, all he has done is set down 9 straight Angel batters.
Talking to some Yankee people, they say Velarde has just a terrific work ethic. Said he's really made himself into a good baseball player at the major league level. We mentioned he played 6 different positions last year. Played excellent at third base, played short, second, and all 3 outfield positions. Plus he doubles as a DH now and then. So Randy Velarde's made himself a very valuable property for the Yankees.
30 years old now, from Midland, Texas. He has a count his way. And he takes a strike. It's 3-1.
Finley's starting to get in a better groove, but he's still been falling behind in the count. 3-1 is a hitter's delight. Velarde will be cranking if he sees something he likes here.
In there, it is 3-2.
They didn't like it well enough. Chuck got it down. Velarde wanted something up in the zone to drive.
Struck him out. Velarde obviously looking for something else. When we come back, you'll have a chance to take a look at rookie Tim Salmon. Steve Physioc, Dave Campbell at Anaheim Stadium, New York, with a 2-0 lead on the California Angels, and Jimmy Key back to the mound to go with his 4th inning of work. Ground ball to short, and Spike Owen throws out Luis Polonia.
Well, Steve, in our little advancer during the hockey game, we said we might have the cure for the 3-hour ball game tonight. I don't want to jinx us, but we're on a pretty good pace right here with Jimmy Key and Chuck Finley.
And they work quickly, don't they?
Amazing when the pitchers throw strikes. It's amazing what kind of a pace game you can have.
I think Jimmy Key's agent has to tell him to slow down to get more PR.
Yeah, he already got the contract. He doesn't need the PR.
And we talked about his agent, his wife, Cindy. Cindy, if you're watching, her husband says, "Hi, honey, please send money. And don't take out 10%. Here's the 1-0. And there, a ball and a strike. Chad Curtis has been on a tremendous hot streak, 12-game hitting streak, hitting .364. Bigger this year. He goes 5'10", 185 pounds. He's trying to get him to chase, and it's 2-1.
Haven't heard a lot about Chad Curtis, but you saw the 12-game hitting streak started the night at .351. He scored runs in 11 consecutive games. I believe that's only 8 shy of the major league record. 19 consecutive by Red Rolfe.
You are amazing.
I don't know if Jimmy Key's wife is watching tonight, but I know Buck's parents are in Prospect, Ohio. He said Aunt and Uncle were over. They had the last of the walleye pike that they caught last fall. It's been frozen all winter. Buck said, the folks are going to be watching. Aunt and Uncle are over. And he said, when I was a youngster, he said, I was a prospect from Prospect. And then he said, I became a suspect from Prospect.
Here's the 2-2, and Curtis fouls it back. He said a little bit of milk, a little bit of egg, a little bit of breadcrumbs, and that walleye tastes great.
Yeah, he said his aunt and uncle don't have cables, so they came. Oh, yeah.
And there's salmon.
Speaking of walleye, Tim Sock Guy salmon.
Likes his grill.
Smoked.
He wants to smoke Jimmy Key. His fastball over the fence. Here's a little chopper. He will handle it. And just barely get Chad Curtis. Gary Miller, what do you want for dinner?
How about a Budweiser to start with? And in the wake of Hal McRae's tirade, the Royals have rallied. The Tigers looking for their 7th straight win, but Mike Hanneman throws it away with 2 outs in the 9th. Keith Miller is safe. McFarland ties it, and they've gone to the 10th at 3-all.
Gary back here. We will see Tim Salmon with 2 outs. Nobody on. And California trailing by 2. There is the breaking ball that misses.
Well, shall I be the first to say that the last perfect game in the major leagues was thrown by Dennis Martinez in 1991.
We're only in the 4th.
That's right. Hey, gone through 11. You know how those announcers jinx the pitcher. So.
What did when Jose Guzman had it for 8 innings, Terry Carey did not say anything until the 8th inning.
8 2/3 for Guzman all the way.
Here is the 1-1 fastball up high. Salmon has had an excellent homestand. 3 home runs, and the one on Sunday beat the Boston Red Sox and Roger Clemens 2-1. Good pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jimmy Key has not gotten behind many hitters tonight, but a couple of times when he has, he's been able to get the breaking ball over when the youngsters are sitting on the heater.
Fastball on the hands. No.
Changeup.
Beautiful. Jimmy Key throws it away. Salmon will take second and stop there.
Well, one thing about it, if Jimmy goes on to pitch what would have been a perfect game, he's got nobody to blame but himself. Made an excellent play on the comebacker that Curtis did. I think he just got his footwork a little messed up there, and he spun a little more than he should have and threw it past Mattingly. He just kind of forced it. Mattingly was right there, but he let it get on by. Does everything properly, opens up the body so Mattingly can see it well, but just makes a pretty bad toss. Looked like he threw a slider. Mattingly was calling for a fastball.
So Salmon's at second base, and the tying run comes to the plate in Gary Gaetti, and he hit one hard but a left center field that was run down by Bernie Williams.
Angels not too happy with the strike zone of Joe Brinkman tonight. Gaetti, a notorious first ball hitter, hit the first ball last time up. If it's close enough for Gary to hack, he would be.
fastball, a check swing. On comes Gallego, an easy play, throws on to Mattingly, and the threat by California is turned back by Jimmy Key and his defense. It's 2-0 New York. And those Oakland A's really needing a victory. They've lost 4 in a row, and here comes Mike Gallego. He spanks one hard, deep left field, and it is gone.
Well, Gags wasn't getting much playing time. Buck Showalter pushes the right buttons tonight, gives Boggs the night off, puts Gallego in, and Mike, who in 1991 hit 12 home runs after only having 11 total in his career before, has been finding the power late in his career. He got all of this one. Finley knew the sound. Louis Polonia put a little show on for us, but Luis, no, you've got no chance on that one.
And here comes Pat Kelly. He lined out of the shortstop. You might have read Mike Gallego's comments in the USA Today the other day when he was talking about not having an idea what his responsibilities were with Buck Showalter's Yankees.
Well, the Yankees really have a bunch of middle infielders. Pretty darn good when Andy Stankiewicz is playing down in Columbus. He was kind of the fans' darling last year, but no room for him when they went out and signed Spike Owen in the offseason.
And you have to believe that the Yankees might be shopping a Mike Gallego, but he has a high price tag.
Could be, but in this day and age, you can share that price tag. As we know with Mark Davis, where 3 different teams are paying his salary right now. Kansas City, Atlanta, and Philadelphia.
Kelly takes it away. It is 3 balls and a strike.
I'm trying to say, because we saw a number of scouts tonight before the game, that they may be showcasing Gallego.
Good showcase, a 384-foot home run to left center field, his first of the year.
Finley only allowed 1 in 27 innings coming into tonight. Bernie Williams touched him for a leadoff homer in the game, and Gallego. So not 2 of your bigger power hitters have taken Finley deep.
And he is high to Pat Kelly.
One of the things that affected Chuck Finley last year when he went 2-11 with an ERA of 5.5 in the first half of the season, he had the bad toe. He had had surgery, and he couldn't get any push off with his drive foot. Now he's having no problems. He pitched very well in the second half last year, has started off well this year, but all of a sudden here in the top of the 5th is allowed a homer and a walk.
And that's his 3rd walk of this game. He had 98 last year. Snap toss first base. Diving back in is Pat Kelly. If they do have a stolen base threat right now, it is Kelly.
But he does have some tendonitis in the back of his leg, so we're going to have to see about that. Buck Showalter held off a long while in his lineups tonight because of Owen's groin and Kelly having the tendonitis in the back of the knee.
He's not going, and Williams fouls it off. Bernie Williams went deep his first time, walked his second time, but was cut down trying to steal, and he's upped his average to 288. They have been waiting for this young man for a long time. Ever since he signed with the ball club at the age of 17, they thought he would be a star. Finally blossoming now at the age of 24.
Pretty quiet, just goes about his business. Good fly hawk in center field. Pretty good on base percentage last year, .352. The Yankees would like to see him get more aggressive on the bases. We mentioned earlier tonight when he was thrown out at second base, it was his first steal attempt of the year. Yankees have not been running at all. Only 3 stolen bases all year.
And Kelly has a very modest lead at first base. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Is Kelly a little shorter lead? Maybe a little hit and run action here?
I don't think with a 1-2 count with nobody out. I doubt it.
Let's see what Chuck Finley decides to throw at the count 1-2.
In case you don't think that baseball looks very bright and white in Chuck Finley's hand, there's a reason for that. Looked like he went. They will appeal and get the call.
And they do. So Williams strikes out, and we've got a chance to check in with Gary Miller.
Steve, Chris Bosio's follow-up to that no-hitter. He had a shutout going against the Indians. Here he is covering the bag in a double play, and Jeff Treadway runs him over. Fazio had to lead the game with a shoulder injury. They led it 2-0 in the 6th.
Seattle's pitching already went into this year with a big question mark as you take a look at the ball that Chuck Finley is handling. And Dave, you were talking about the color of the baseball. Why it's not bright white?
Talk about it after this pitch,
which is low and inside.
Actually, if you get too much of a shine on the baseball the way it comes new, it becomes very glossy, very tough for the pitchers to control, and sometimes tough to see. What they rub on it, the umpires before the game or one of their assistants rub about 60 baseballs up with special mud taken out of the Delaware River. It's a secret recipe, and they use it. Every club in Major Leagues has that mud that they keep in a can at the ballpark. And used to be the umpires rubbed it up themselves, but now they have an attendant that works in their clubhouse that I'm sure that young man gets the job of rubbing up the baseballs.
Special recipe, huh? I wonder if they got it from Buck Rogers folks.
That was a guy named Lena Blackburn, a former Major League player, who passed away and gave the secret mix to a friend of the family who has kept it going.
Just another baseball memory of yarns from the Campbell.
Just another fill time here on ESPN. Fill time ESPN News.
We had a home run to start this inning by Mike Gallego, then the walk to Pat Kelly, a strikeout by Bernie Williams, and now Spike Owen is the count 1-2. And the pitch out. Horton will come out to talk with Chuck Finley as the count has gone even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Buck Showalter, he is challenging the other Buck on the other side. A pair of Bucks here tonight. And the 2-2 pitch. Try to go the opposite field, but with the runner going, J.T. Snow has no play as it rolls foul. Average has moved up every season since 1990. 234, then 255, 269, and last year at 269 he really gave himself a terrific opportunity to market himself, and he did that with that $7 million contract he has signed with the New York Yankees and come out with a .300 average in the first 2 weeks. Foul back. Stays 2-2. This time Kelly stayed at first base.
Buck said one of his main goals last year when he took over was to restore pride in the pinstripes. Well, the Yankees don't wear pinstripes on their road uniforms, but we do know what he's talking about.
Kelly does not go, and the pitch misses. It's full. 3-2.
Yes, I see you looking at me. Yeah, he will be going.
3-0 score in New York with a home run this inning. They have a home run from Bernie Williams in the first and an RBI in the second, or rather a run scored in the second. And Kelly goes, and the pitch reached out, punched to left field by Spike Owen. Racing to third is Kelly, and he is in there.
Good decision by Luis Polonia. He was going to throw to third, but he knew with Spike Owen hustling to first base, he didn't want to throw to the wrong base. He did not have a shot at Kelly at third. Luis Polonia made the right play as Big Frank Howard stands there and talks to Spike. When you start that runner, Spike went out and hit a pretty good pitch, like a fork ball that didn't do an awful lot, but it was in good position. Polonia thought about third, but makes the proper throw into second.
And he was the man who made the great throw from left field on Sunday to cut down Mo Vaughn and the Boston Red Sox. That run would have tied the game at 2. Here's Don Mattingly, and he takes a strike. On the replays, it looked like Vaughn was in there. Pat Kelly at third base. Spike Owen at first. Only 1 out, and the Yankees already leading the Angels 3-0, trying to put a major dent in California's 6-game win streak. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talked about Finley's position on the rubber. Standing over there, he's not quite as intimidating for that left-handed hitter. They stand on the other side, then they come a little crossfire. It's tougher to see the ball, and you see what left-handers did against him last year.
And Mattingly pops it up. John Orton wants it. Makes the catch and 2 out.
Donnie had a good pitch to hit, and this is a man that's knocked in 35% of men in scoring position in his career, the best of any current player. So he doesn't leave him stranded at third with less than 2 out very often.
So it's up to Danny Tartabull. So you're saying a left hand gets with that angle on the rubber, gets more of an opportunity to take a look at the pitch thrown by Finley.
Yeah, especially a guy that big. He comes crossfire over near first base. If you got that front shoulder closed, you almost lose vision. Orton tries to throw it away, but a good stop by Finley. This is a key man for Chuck right here. He knows he's up against a tough hombre tonight in Jimmy Key. His club's already down 3-0. He got a big out with Mattingly, but he's got one big out to go here. If Tartabull goes deep, Angels probably can kiss this one goodbye.
And Tartabull hits it to the third baseman Gonzalez. Quick toss, second base. Inning is over. Yanks score a run, but don't go away. JT's coming to the plate for California when we come back. I have relief in Kansas City. They are staring in the face of last place after Oakland had lost 4 games in a row. And retook the cellar from Kansas City, but the Royals have rebounded from a very disappointing beginning to go 8-12 now. And here's JT Snow. And he has a count, a ball and a strike to Jimmy Key. Fastball popped up on the infield. Pat Kelly. 1 out.
You know, Steve, last time JT was up, he wasn't very happy with the call by the home plate umpire, Joe Brinkman. But one thing I'm sure JT has been told by some of the veteran players, that once in a while the umpires will test you. And if they don't like what they see, you can get on their bad list in a hurry. So you're better off just taking your medicine. Maybe they don't do it intentionally, but if they do make a call that's a little bit questionable, they want to see how young people react. I remember Ed Runge used to talk to me when I was breaking in. He'd say, son, you don't question what we call. You swing the bat. I said, yes, sir. Ed had one of the great lines in history. He said, umpiring is the only profession where you have to be perfect the first day on the job and then get better.
And then get better. Rene Gonzalez in the hole to umpire Joe Brinkman and Jimmy Key 0-2. Breaking ball misses.
Another thing, too, about, you know, some of the borderline calls, most of them are going Jimmy Key's way tonight, but everybody will tell you, it's been around this game, that if you're around the plate consistently, the umpires are going to give you the calls. It's just human nature if you're around that plate that much.
Came inside on Rene Gonzalez, but misses. It's evening the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So he's more inclined to get a borderline pitch than, say, a Randy Johnson.
Randy's been throwing strikes this year, though.
In the air, center field. Bernie Williams back at about 8 feet from the warning track, makes the catch, and 2 out.
Jimmy Key has had a one hitter in his career. That was against the Chicago White Sox. But he is starting to flirt with the idea of, let's see, he's retired 14 batters. The only runner to reach was on his own throwing error.
That came in the 4th inning. Tim Salmon, the base runner. And there's a ground ball short, taken care of by Spike Owen, and he throws on to Don Mattingly. Another 1-2-3 frame for Jimmy Key. 5 no-hit innings. It's 3-0 New York. For 2 against Finley. And he pops this one, foul territory. JT Snow races over, and he will be out of room.
See, this ballpark, Anaheim Stadium, and a rating done by our friends at Stats Inc., this park has turned out to be the most average park, fair to both pitchers and hitters, of any park in the major leagues over the last 5 years. The one that has the most negative influence on runs, the Oakland Coliseum, probably because it has the most foul territory, and the park that had the biggest positive influence on runs scored, gee, a real surprise, Wrigley Field in Chicago. But
not this year. It's Tiger Stadium, I have a feeling. 20 runs in 2 games, 17 in another.
Yeah, the Tigers scored 3 runs tonight, just to continue that thought, what the Tigers did last year when they scored 3 runs or less. They were a wonderful 6-52. So the Bengals have to hit to win.
John Orton comes up with the baseball and throws out Mike Stanley. So 1 out. But tomorrow on ESPN, we've got a real special coming your way at 10:30 Eastern Time. Our Wednesday night baseball. Bobby Bowl, Mia against Barry Bonds. Those great friends. You'll see them. The Mets, the Giants, 7:30 on the West Coast. We've got hockey prior to that. And Bonds has been so sensational for the San Francisco Giants, who won today. We've got it tomorrow on ESPN.
And if Boomer's listening tonight, Boomer, no cheerleading during that game. Boomer the unabashed Giants fan. But he calls it down the middle just because his heart is going one way.
Well, here's Jimmy Leyritz. Takes it low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I did a game with Boomer. Of course, we're talking about Chris Berman in L.A. one time, and Lasorda brought him into the office and preached to him for a half hour about how Boomer was going to have to become a Dodger fan. Yeah. He plied him with his diet drink, with his Tommy Lasorda pasta sauce. I mean, Chris walked out of an armful, but no, not when you're a Giants fan.
And the hated Dodgers. Here's the 1-2 from Chuck Finley to Jim Leyritz, and he takes a called strike 3.
Joe Brinkman, been a pitcher's umpire all evening, calling it both ways. Leyritz didn't really like the call, but he's been ringing them up for Jimmy Key, and he rings this one up for Chuck Finley. Leyritz thought it was a tad low. Swing the bat, Jimmy.
So 2 outs now, nobody on for Randy Velarde. He's 1 for 2, singled in the second, and struck out his last time up, and fouls this one off. He's in the hole, no balls, 1 strike.
Finley has better velocity this inning, and he's had the entire game for whatever reason. Chuck went 9 last time out, struck out 10 against the Indians. Did not come out with real great stuff tonight. He aired that fastball out to Velarde, had it past him.
That fastball in, it's popped to right center field, and Velarde's on for the second time. Gary Miller.
Steve, the Stanley Cup Network keeping you posted. The power play for Vancouver as they try to close out the Winnipeg Jets. Dave Babbitt's shot won't go, but Greg Adams is there for the rebound. They lead 3-1 in the second as they try to eliminate the Jets. Back to you.
And of course, tomorrow we'll have hockey on ESPN. I think the Wales Conference, and then of course our Wednesday night feature on baseball. The New York Mets at the San Francisco Giants. Here it's 3-0. New York leading the California Angels. New logo. You should see on the cap of Chuck Finley. What a turnaround it has been. Mike Gallego pops it foul. He's in the hole, no balls and 1 strike. Chuck Finley is the last member of the 1986 California Angels that won the American League West. Terrific team that featured Bob Boone and Doug DeCinces and Reggie Jackson and Wally Joyner. Pitchers like Kirk McCaskill and Don Sutton and Mike Witt, now a New York Yankee. Fastball high. It's 1-1.
You see Witt right there. Finley gave Gallego a little message. Mike homered last time up, and then he leaned across the plate, hit an outside fastball towards right. So Finley said, enough of that. I'm going to move you off the plate a little bit.
Gallego fouls it back. But the message that was sent yesterday, Roger Clemens to J.T. Snow, the rookie, he throws one behind his head, and then Scott Sanderson comes up and throws one behind the head of one of his great friends, Andre Dawson.
Yeah, neither one of them were close. They were just messages.
There's J.T. Snow. He said, well, I knew it was going to happen. I'm the rookie. I'm still learning. Runner goes, and the pitch is swung on, popped in the air, right center field. And Tim Salmon is there. Yankees threaten but can't score. They remain leading Chuck Finley 3-0. Yankees with runs in the first, second, and fifth have the 3-0 lead on the California Angels. Tuesday night baseball on ESPN. Steve Physioc and Dave Campbell with you. And here we go, bottom of the sixth inning. Gary DiSarcina will lead things off. He is 0 for 1. You've seen his average fall from 241 down to under the 240 mark. Rod Carew working with him quite a bit in batting practice this afternoon. And it is 2 balls and no strikes to the Angels shortstop. There's Rod Carew sitting right next to Rene Gonzalez, his third baseman. In there, and it is 2-1.
Jimmy Key, first time he's fallen behind a hitter, 2 balls and no strikes all night, comes back 2-1, has not had a 3-ball count on one Angel hitter this evening. See, I'm a jinx. I said he had a perfect game, and the Jimmy Key fans are ready to string me up by my neck. But just reporting, folks.
The count is 3-1 to Gary DiSarcina. And he spanks it back up the middle. That's a base hit, and it breaks up Jimmy Key's no-hitter.
Well, in his one hitter against the White Sox in 1986, it was the shortstop Ozzie Guillen that broke it up with 1 out in the 5th inning. So get behind 3-1. Jimmy Key with a 3-run lead wasn't going to walk him. Lays it right down the middle, and DiSarcina hits it right back up the middle.
Jimmy Key now working on a 1-hit shutout. He has a great move to first base.
And that was not his great move. That was just I think I'll show you. This first runner the Angels have had at first. Salmon made second on the air before.
In there. John Orton. Grounded back to the mound his first time up. California needs base runners. They trail 3-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Leadoff man is on first base. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 5+, 1 hit, and that 1 hit came on Jimmy's 61st pitch tonight.
And his first 3-ball count.
And the 0-2 to Orton. He checks his swing, fouls it into the Yankees dugout.
Jimmy Key is what you call a professional pitcher. For you youngsters out there, maybe don't throw 90 miles an hour. You don't have to. You can throw 85, 86, 87, spot the fastball in and out like he has tonight, get an occasional breaking ball over and have a good changeup. You can flat pitch in the major leagues.
Coming home to Orton again. Ooh, didn't miss by much, and it's 1-2.
Tried to backdoor him with a hook. Stayed upstairs just a little bit, according to Joe Brinkman.
He almost teases you on that outside corner, daring you to pull it.
You know, he's just got that very smooth delivery. By the time you think you have him measured, he changes speeds on you again.
Came inside with the fastball. Evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes to John Orton.
All those spots he was hitting early on, he's just missing a little bit right now. This is a key pitch. He doesn't want to go 3-2 to Orton. He's still got the advantage. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Outside corner, strike 3. Let's check in with Gary Miller.
Steve, we take it to Oakland, where it's getting worse for the Red Sox. A base hit by Bordick. Zupzik's throw is booted by Carlos Quintana. Tony Pena backing up the play will make a stab and try to get Terry Steinbach. Greg Koska, who has already thrown Danny Darwin out of the game, gets in the way. Steinbach's in there. It's 6-1 in the 7th.
Oakland off to their worst start since, what, 1979? Well, here in Anaheim, pretty good move by Jimmy Key. He had Gary DiSarcina leaning towards second base, but only because he had a very modest lead, was able to get back to first base.
Yeah, he also either picked Don Mattingly off, or that's a planned play, and that was a planned play. Donnie started to go off, but Mattingly already had a planned play with Key. Nice deke by Mattingly. It didn't work.
And the pitch high to Luis Polonia. Luis tonight 0 for 2, pair of ground outs. He is hitting .347 against the New York Yankees. He says every time they come to town, this is one team I really enjoy beating.
One of those home runs was an inside the park grand slam. That probably tickled him more than anything else.
He left New York under difficult circumstances. Trouble in Milwaukee. It has since finally been resolved.
The Rockies tonight.
Somebody finally slowed down Montreal. Boy, they've been playing very, very well, if not for the incredible start by those Philadelphia Phillies. Montreal would be in first place in the National League East. Well, that's the end of that ball. DiSarcina again, a very short lead at first base, and a big swing and a miss by Luis Polonia.
Left-handed batters against Jimmy Key last year hit 176. That was the lowest in the American League. But Polonia, usually a pretty good contact hitter, doesn't strike out very much. Key's got him though, 1 and 2.
Comes home and strikes out Polonia. That's 5 strikeouts in the game for Jimmy Key.
Looked like Louis was just trying to fight that one off, and Jimmy Key looked like he took him up the ladder. So Key went upstairs on Polonia, and Louis couldn't catch up.
2 outs now, and to the plate is Chad Curtis. Pair of ground outs against Jimmy Key. Last time up, he almost came up with the first base hit off Key of the night. And Chapman back to the mound. Tries to go right field and fouls it off. Strike 1. Chad Curtis from Grand Canyon College in Phoenix, Arizona, where he went same time his teammate Tim Salmon went there. They played together. He was an NAIA All-American, third baseman, and there is Tim Salmon, who will follow. College teammates. What a program they must have at Grand Canyon.
Tough to hit one out of there, though.
Biggest ballpark in baseball history, the Grand Canyon.
Tim Salmon hit 51. Must really be strong.
Over the Colorado River. The 1-1 pitch, and Curtis takes it low. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Jimmy Key showing the first signs of cracking tonight. Been behind 2 hitters in the inning. DiSarcina and now Curtis. Just little telltale signs. Certainly not enough to get alarmed about or get the bullpen up. But for the first time, he's showing just a little bit out of rhythm.
He just freezes you at first base. Curtis fouls it off again. His move to first base is so similar to his stretch to home plate.
Well, the Angels, no question, one of their strengths in the early going has been running wild on the base pass. But a guy like Key will negate that with his move, and the other way is by not allowing too many base runners. That'll certainly slow down a running game.
DiSarcina again only about 4 feet off the bag at first base, and Key comes home, and Curtis spanks it up the middle, cut off by the shortstop, and there's Spike Owen for the final out of the 6th. Jimmy Key has allowed only 1 hit in the game. It came off the bat of Gary DiSarcina to start the 6th. It remains New York 3, California nothing. Dave Campbell at Anaheim Stadium in Southern California. Top of the 7th, New York with a 3-0 lead. Chuck Finley will face Pat Kelly to start the 7th inning. And Kelly pops it in the air, right center field. Tim Salmon there, and 1 out. So back at the top of the order we go, and Bernie Williams will be followed by Spike Owen. And then if anybody gets on, Don Mattingly. Williams tonight started the damage against Chuck Finley back in the 1st inning to lead the game off, hit a Soto home run to right center field, and now takes a big breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 1.
Finley sharper the last 2 innings. Velarde got a hit off him, but Chuck's starting to get a little better spin on the breaking ball, a little more movement on the fastball, and he's really turning it loose right now.
And he has been effective against the right-handers. We talked about him standing on the third base side of the rubber. Now he has kind of a deceptive, and he hides the ball extremely well. That has to make it even more difficult against a right-handed hitter.
Also get better tail action on the fastball. So that way it's tailing away from the right-handed hitter, but again it's coming in a little bit to the left-handed hitter, which does help them to some extent. But I still don't think there's too many left-handers in the league that like running up there often. A lot of those numbers last year, the 402 left-handed batters, a lot of that inflated in the first half of the season when his ERA was nearly 6. He was having all kinds of problems with the foot.
Your left-handers have 402 off them, but when you take a look at lineups, most of the teams will send right-handers out against Chuck Finley, except when they face the best hitters on a team, like a Don Mattingly or Ken Griffey Jr. Those guys are in there against everybody. So the best left-handers are always facing Chuck Finley. No wonder they hit 402 off them. And this year hitting over 300. Here's the 2-2 to Bernie, and he swings and misses, striking out.
Bottom falling out of that pork ball, and of course with Finley getting ahead, that makes a difference too. Hitters hate to get caught with a bat on the shoulder, so if you get ahead with 2 strikes, they're more apt to chase that fork ball, as Bernie Williams did there.
Pop foul by Spike Owen. Finley's one of those guys who will mix it up. 867 strikeouts in his Angel career. Of course, the all-time leader, Nolan Ryan, 2,416. Mike Witt, forgot about him. He 1,283. And it's popped up. John Orton takes care of Spike Owen, and Chuck Finley has his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Bottom of 7th inning to lead things off, Tim Salmon. He'll be followed by Gary Gaetti, and then J.T. Snow, the heart of the order for California. Jimmy Key has been outstanding tonight. He has allowed just 1 hit, at Gary DiSarcina's leadoff single to start the 6th inning. Salmon 0 for 2 in the night. He reached on the air. That was the first base runner allowed by Jimmy Key. Came on his air. A lot of great baseball stories in that crowd. Buddy Herzog, Reggie Jackson, of course, in the middle, and George Steinbrenner, the owner of New York's Yankees.
First 3-0 count. So Jimmy Key starting to show just a few signs, and he really is only in the mid-70s as far as pitch count, so he shouldn't be, but all of a sudden starting to show a few cracks.
And he walks Salmon to lead off the 7th, the first base on balls that he has issued tonight. Let's go to Gary Miller.
Steve Miller, Genuine Draft, brings us this date in baseball. It was 10 years ago this night that Nolan Ryan broke the Big Train's record. He's got more than 5,600 strikeouts now. Back to you.
And Nolan Ryan, the all-time leader in California Angels strikeout history. Bottom of the 7th here is New York leading 3-0, but California has put a man on first base against Jimmy Key, and New York this year has had a rough time protecting Jimmy Key leads. He did a game earlier this year where he was up 4-0 going into the 9th inning, and Steve Howe and Steve Farr could not save him. Now it's Gary Gaetti at the plate with the count 0-1.
Gary, as usual, first pitch he saw, he hacked at.
He's coming home on a swing and a miss by Gaetti. 0-2.
Of course, Gary hasn't been one of the fan favorites here. He's struggled in the 2 years. He did lead the Angels in home runs last year, but only hit 12. The Angels were abysmal offensively. In 1992, they averaged 3.6 runs a game. One of the reasons for their improvement, they're averaging 5.8 in the first 16 this year, but have zeros up there tonight.
0-2 and a swing and a miss by Gaetti. 6 strikeouts on the night for Jimmy Key.
Well, as quickly as Jimmy lost it, all of a sudden he went into the stretch and got it back. So maybe he feels more comfortable right now out of the stretch, as he made some good pitches on Gaetti. Good tailing changeup. Gaetti couldn't lay off.
1 out now with Salmon at first base, and the batter is J.T. Snow. Salmon's not going anywhere with California down. Now he is. Wow. And he will stay at second base. I was going to say he's not going anywhere with a stolen base because the Angels just simply need base runners.
Well, the amazing thing about that is Jimmy Key went 3 years between 1990 and 1992, including those 2 years, and threw only 1 wild pitch. So you know he's out of sync.
He launched it fast. Breeze through 6, allowing only 1 hit and 2 base runners, the other on his own arrow. Salmon at second base. He was there. Back in the 5th, was left stranded. Catching the outside corner to J.T. Snow, and it's 1-1.
Don't take me wrong. Jimmy Key hasn't lost it. He's just starting to struggle a little bit.
In the air, right field. Danny Tarleton makes the catch. Salmon tags. He stays at second base, though.
So Key has really started to paint the outside part. He walked Salmon, made 3 good pitches to Gaetti, and stayed outside after the wild pitch to J.T. Snow, and J.T. could only just kind of flare one off to the right side.
With the Angels trailing by 3, they sent up Rene Gonzalez, who wants to go deep. He said it has been a long time since his last home run. I think June 18th last year was the last time Rene Gonzalez went with a long ball. He's got Salmon at second base. Angels trailing by 3. And a little wrinkle that misses the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Rene broke his hand in August last year, and that's why much of the second half of the season.
Well, we talked about Gallego hitting 12 in 91 after hitting 11 total in his career. Rene hit 7 last year. He had only had 6 in his career up to then total, not in 1 year. So he had a little newfound power. Those gags.
Yeah, they found that power by lifting weights, Dave.
You bet. Gags.
Brady Anderson and Rene Gonzalez got together, beefed up a little bit, didn't pull any muscles. And the running controversy continues.
Just check the disabled list, pal.
New York has 0.
1970, there were 52 players on the disabled list the whole year. Last year, there were 137 pitchers alone.
And the 1-1 pitch to Rene Gonzalez. He quickly changed the subject, and it is a low ball. 2-1. The one hit allowed. That's to Gary DiSarcina to start the 6th inning. He has walked his first batter, and that came here in the 7th. The leadoff man, Tim Salmon. Chuck Finley in the California dugout. Down 3-0.
I don't think between the year 1965 and 1980 we had one guy in the DL because of a ribcage pull.
You know, that is the injury of the 1990s, isn't it?
I don't know that for sure. But I don't recall so many. As they said the other day, Keith Olbermann said he has an intercostal pull. Olbermann said he read it on the wire. Not intercostal, yeah, we know.
It is 3-1. Rene Gonzalez. If he gets on, Chang run will come to the plate in Damian Easley. And there is Damian, the rookie from the Los Angeles area. Took his first 13 years in the city of New York, and he loved the New York Yankees. And the 3-1. Fastball on the ground. Key knocks it down and throws out Gonzalez. The one-hitter continues for Jimmy Key through 7. Hard by Jimmy Key, the crafty southpaw. Why is it that left-handers always crafty and right-handers junk ballers?
I don't know. It's probably the same reason when Mickey Lolich said when he lost 20 games, he was fat, but when he won 20, he was the portly left-hander.
Well, the moon over Anaheim. It is 3-0 New York. And Chuck Finley back to the mound to face Don Mattingly. Mattingly 1 for 2 off Chuck tonight. He has been on base twice. He walked in the 1st inning, singled in the 3rd, and popped up in the 5th inning. And the first offering from Finley to Don Mattingly is a fastball high. Really wonderful watching him work in batting practice. I mean, he talks about the days when he used to take 600 cuts in batting practice behind Yankee Stadium, working so well. He stands at the farthest back part of the batter's box. Those days of working that much are over. There is a drive to right center field. It would be run down by Chad Curtis. And there's one out. Back problems followed Mattingly. Hopes that is in his past.
Talked to a couple of scouts that have been watching Don the last week or so, and they said he's been driving the ball pretty well, but balls that they saw that he used to be able to hit over the fence, he now hits to the warning track, and you don't know if that's because of the back or just what it is. Came back last year to have his best year in 3 seasons, but to think he's going to hit 35 homers and drive in 145 again, I don't think it's fair. My
Danny
goodness.
Tartable. Whoa! Way out of here. And New York has taken a 4-0 lead on Chuck Finley and the Angels.
This is one of those, I wonder what movie they're showing on the flight of this one today. That was about 430 feet or so. We'll wait for the tail of the tape, but I'll guarantee you it's going to be pushing 430.
It was a monster. And here is Mike Stanley. 0 for 3 in the evening. And he has the count. 1 ball, no strikes to him from Chuck Finley. Fouled off.
That one kind of looked like the one Jack Clark hit off Tom Niedenfuhr in Los Angeles in '85. I mean, it was instant. Danny said, yeah, I got a pretty good piece of that one. Bernie, yours was like a bunt.
So Danny's 4th. There's a ground ball that eats up Damian Easley, but he keeps it in front of him and throws on to cut down Mike Stanley. Wednesday night baseball tomorrow night on ESPN. Special time 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 the West Coast. The Mets and the Giants. Bobby Bowe against his old friend Barry Bonds. It is the Mets and Giants here on ESPN at New Candlestick Park. If redone the fences. They've got walls now. Barry Bonds is chewing up Candlestick Park, hitting better than 400 this year. Here's Jimmy Leyritz. Hey, Barry Bonds, eat your heart out. Leyritz is hitting better than 500.
I'm sorry, I overestimated. It was measured at 422 feet.
You're slipping, pal. Leyritz swings and misses, 1-1. There was a time when I worked with you 3 years ago. You would have been right at 430. Low, 2-1.
Rene Gonzalez in the last game the Angels lost. Cal Ripken in the bottom of the 8th inning hit a swinging bunt down the third base line. It went 65 feet, and Gonzalez called him after the game and asked him how far it went on the IBM tail of the tape. Hey, it was effective. It drove in the winning run.
The 2-2. And Leyritz pops it foul again, stays alive. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. 4-0. New York has the lead, and the California Angels trying to snap the Angels' 6-game win streak.
Over a year ago since Finley's allowed 3 home runs in the game.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Jim Leyritz. He gives up one more. That man's home run is 4th of the year. 4-0 New York. Key is working on a 1-hit shutout. That lone hit to Gary DiSarcina back in inning number 6. And here to lead things off, he'll face the rookie, Damian Easley. Easley 0 for 2, struck out in the 3rd, grounded to short in inning number 5. And Key is low.
Interesting note on Easley last year. When he was ahead in the count, 1 ball, no strikes, 2-1 and 3-1, he hit 447. When he was behind, he hit 140. If you ever wonder how important the count is. Now he's behind 1 and 2. It should give Jimmy Key a tremendous advantage. That was not over a full season last year. But still indicative of what happens when the pitcher gets ahead in the count. What it does is basically hitters hate to strike out. A few of them don't mind. They get their 3 hacks, but most hitters hate to strike out, so they really start getting defensive at the plate, and they don't get good rips even when the pitcher makes a mistake.
Who's the best 2-strike hitter you ever saw?
Well, you can make a case for a lot of guys, but I played against a guy named Rico Cardi that was about as good as I saw.
Here's Easley with the count 1-2, and he takes a fastball and pops it foul.
I think the best guy in baseball last year was Tony Gwynn, and I think he hit 288. So that just gives you an indicative. That's just indicative of how when the pitcher gets ahead, the advantage really goes to him. Wade Boggs has always been a great 2-strike hitter. Not tonight, though. He's watching. He watched his replacement Mike Gallego go deep to put one of the Yankee runs on the board. 3 home runs by the Bombers tonight.
1-2 again, pop foul by Easley. That's 3 in a row with foul balls. And I saw a stat on Wade Boggs last year. He only swung and missed 4% of the time in 1993.
And still hit 259.
That's what's amazing.
So much for contact.
Yeah. A high breaking ball hit to Gallego. He throws out Damian Easley. Gary.
Steve, the K factor. Speaking of Jimmy Key, he had walked only 4 batters coming into this game. He overtakes John Dobson with his performance tonight, the best strikeout to walk ratio in the American League this season.
The 6th inning, the only hit off Jimmy Key, Gary DiSarcina, and he spanked it right past Jimmy Key up the middle. The only hit we've seen from the Angels. And now Key faces him the time after.
Yeah, Steve, one year Dick Allen, when he was playing with the Phillies, struck out 150 times and still hit 300. Can you imagine what he hit when he put the ball in play? But Dick never got cheated. He didn't get defensive when he had 2 strikes on him. He just hacked.
Talked to so many of the old-timers who talk about Richie Allen. Frank Harrod was a guy who had a chance to watch Allen play. His days with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Setting the defense.
On What a nice guy.
In the air, right center field, Danny Tartabull makes the catch, and 2 are out.
I think it was Steve Cady of the New York Times once said about Bob Lemon. He said the next person that says something bad about Bob Lemon will be the first. And I think you can say that for Frank Howard, too. I mean, if you don't like Hondo, he is just a great guy.
Again, Key tries to work the corner of the plate, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to John Orton. Swing and a miss. A ball, a strike.
Jimmy muscled up on that fastball a little bit. Put a little on, take a little off. It's real easy when pitchers like Key get in a good groove and rhythm.
He's back on it.
Sure.
Laboring a bit in the 7th inning.
Sometimes in baseball, though, just as quickly as you get into a groove, you can get out of one. That's what happened to Key last August. In fact, it happened to the entire Toronto pitching staff. He had an ERA something like 7 in the month of August and still got back on track. One of the blessings of that, it might have forced him to go out and get David Cohn. And then they got some of their pitchers back on track in September. Had a great month of September. Of course, went on to win the world title.
Swing and a miss, and John Orton strikes out. Jimmy Key with an excellent night. He has struck out 7, allowed only 1 hit. Steve Physioc, Dave Campbell, top of the 9th inning. New York with a 4-0 lead in the California Angels. Chuck Finley will come out for the 9th to face Randy Velarde, Mike Gallego, and Pat Kelly. And Finley's first pitch, and Velarde goes after it, trying to drop it into center field, but Chad Curtis runs it down.
Finley only at the 110 pitch count, so he's not really overextended, but I'm sure Buck Rogers and Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach of the Angels, keeping a watchful eye on them. They do have activity in their bullpen. That's the real reason why the Angels are winning this year, you know, Steve. No more red shoes.
As good as any, I've heard. I mean, you talk about a ball club that has done an about face. 2 years ago, the oldest team in the American League. This year, probably the very youngest. And this one's hit a mile to left field. Mike Gallego with 2 home runs on the night.
Wonder if Wade Boggs has ever heard of Wally Pipp. Well, Gallego has languished on the bench most of the year, and he's certainly making the most of an opportunity tonight.
First time in his career he has hit 2 home runs in a game.
Gallego went to school at UCLA, so he's doing it close to where he did it collegiately. Boggs is telling him, yeah. I wanted to give you a break, kid.
Right center field. Salmon calls off Chad Curtis. Gary Miller.
Steve, speaking of taters, Mark McGwire back in the lineup for the A's. That's his 2nd of the game. 8 hits this year. 3 of them are home runs. The A's have hit 4 in the game. They're up 7-2 in the 9th.
Gary Chellum, his old friend and old teammate Mike Gallego, has gone deep twice in Anaheim to give New York Yankees a 5-0 lead in the California Angels.
And those two are close friends. I'm pretty sure a phone call will be exchanged between the 2 of them tonight. Finley giving a little message. He's been touched up for 4 home runs. Bernie Williams hit 1 to right center, so Chuck's sending a belated message to Bernie.
Two balls and no strikes to Bernie Williams. 2 outs, so run in.
Nice thing about working on ESPN is you don't have to tell our fans who Wally Pipp was.
They are educated baseball fans, lovers of the game. In there. 2-1.
But just in case somebody out there, maybe
like
a new
our
fan,
wives are watching.
Yeah, doesn't know. He happened to come up with a headache one day, and a guy by the name of Lou Gehrig was inserted by Miller Huggins into the lineup. And 2,130 games later, Pip was still wondering if he'd get to play a game with the Yankees.
Bernie Williams has the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. It is a 5-0 New York lead as they're trying to snap California's win streak at 6 games. Foul back, 3-2. Finley, they still got about 90 miles an hour on the radar gun with that last fastball.
I think the only thing about Chuck's fastball, and we documented it earlier on, at times he's had an outstanding fastball, but it hasn't been consistently there. Not taking anything away from Gallego, but he hit a hanging fastball, not one of those 90-mile-an-hours upstairs.
With 2 outs, he has walked Bernie Williams here in the 9th inning. Scott Lewis and Valero were warming down in that California bullpen. Let's take a look at Mike Gallego's home run again, his 2nd of the game.
Mike got full extension, and just like Tartable, maybe it didn't go as far, but he knew it was gone.
He's hit a 384-foot bomb and now taking one 377. Here's Spike going, and he pops it up on the infield. Damian Easley. Yankees come up with 1 more. And Mike Gallego's 2nd home run of the game. It's 5-0 Yanks. Bottom of the 9th inning, Jimmy Key is going to try and finish this thing off himself. We told you earlier in this telecast that he had a 4-0 lead earlier this year in New York. Gave way to the bullpen. Steve Howe and Steve Farr could not save the game for him. He lost that affair 5-4. So he'll try and finish this one himself. Luis Polonia will lead things off, and here's the strike 1 pitch to him. Polonia in the air. Bernie Williams. 1 out. They've got SportsCenter coming up next with Dan Patrick and Chris Fowler. They'll be telling us about Chris Bosio. Another no-no. Al McRae's tirade in Kansas City, and Mike Tyson speaks out about his future. SportsCenter next on ESPN.
Jimmy Key at 110 pitches, so he's certainly in the area. Not concerned yet. About 120, 125, usually the limit. No activity in the Yankee bullpen.
Scores from around the major leagues again at 15-45. Listach goes 4 for 4. Toronto beats Texas 4-3. That's important because California will hold on to their lead in the American League West. That is 2.5 games. And Kansas City beat Detroit, so New York will be within 2 games of first place in the American League East. And Chad Curtis is out for the 4th straight time in this game. 1 out. Colorado got 11 at home. Houston 9-2 over St. Louis. Biggio with 3 hits. There's Chuck Finley, who is staring in the face of his first loss of the year. And the Marlins, good bullpen work. How about Oral Hershiser, 6th career 3-hitter. Burkett, first 5-game winner in the major leagues. And the Canucks lead the series 3-1. California down to their last hitter, Tim Salmon, as he can get on and start a rally.
Well, Steve, we said earlier on, in fact, in a little thing we did during the hockey game, if it was a chance for a 2-hour and 15-minute, these guys could turn it in. We're looking at about 2:13 right now, so at least that's kept form to this point.
Salmon swing and a miss, 1 and 2. And this is when Key has been outstanding. 1 and 2. Let's see if he drops a little wrinkle on the outside corner. And he's done so well tonight. Tried to. A lot of Yankee fans here roaring on this final pitch.
Well, Southern California, a haven for transplants.
There's a Yankee fan. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Jimmy Key with a sterling effort tonight. Strikeout 8 in the game and wins his 3rd this year. Key goes to 3-0. Finley is 2-1. The Yanks 11-8. They're within 2 games of front-running Detroit in the East. California is 12-5, 2.5 games in front of second-place Texas. Williams, Tartable, 2 home runs by that man, Mike Gallego. For Dave Campbell and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Steve Physioc saying good night from Anaheim, where our final score is New York 5, California nothing. Stay tuned for SportsCenter right after this.